Thanks for staying with Newsnight. Now, the DA is standing fully behind embattled Tshwane Mayor Solly Msimanga. He is facing a vote of no confidence tomorrow. The party addressed the media today on the status of its coalition governments. Msimanga could share the same fate as Athol Trollip, who was ousted as mayor of Nelson Mandela Bay Metro earlier this week. eNCA's Samkelo Maseko was at the briefing and he joins me now. Now, Samuel, did the DA take any responsibility at all for the situation that they are finding themselves in?
Not at all. They never took any responsibility for it. They are saying that the incumbent executive mayor of Tshwane, who may be soon outgoing should the EFF and the ANC decide to vote with each other come that council sitting tomorrow in the city of Tshwane, they did not take any accountability themselves. They said there's an investigation currently going on Dr. Msola, and it's very worrisome that the ANC and the EFF are now deciding to vote with each other to oust executive mayor Solly Msimanga in that position squarely and solely because he was investigating Dr. Msola, which brings about the question here, Vuyo. Where was Solly Msimanga when all this maladministration, fraud and corruption was ongoing in the city of Tshwane? In the evidence that we have seen and the emails that the ANC's Dr. Tshwane has given to us, it shows that Solly Msimanga may have been attached in an emails sent to him about the appointment of Glad Africa, that construction company or engineering company which was awarded a 12 billion rands tender to look after the infrastructure and engineering projects of the city of Tshwane, which they have been allegedly also been given free office space in the city of Tshwane. I wonder how many business people in South Africa would love to have free office space where they do not pay to conduct their work.
So even with the benefit of hindsight, they aren't even prepared to say, maybe, just maybe, we could have handled the Tshwane situation better. We could have handled the Nelson Mandela Bay situation better. None whatsoever. They are just saying it's everybody else's fault.
It's thoroughly not the Democratic Alliance's fault in Nelson Mandela Bay, where there was a breakdown between the relationship of Mongameli Bobane and Athol Trollip. They are saying Mongameli Bobane has gone rogue, he's a crook and he's corrupt. In Tshwane, they are saying that the Economic Freedom Fighters is trying to bring back the ANC through the back door when they vote with the Economic Freedom Fighters in that vote of no confidence. There is no acknowledgement of what they may have done wrong. There is no thorough introspection of themselves. It's a similar situation to that of how the ANC was defending former President Jacob Zuma at all costs without introspecting themselves of what they may have done wrong during that era of the former president. They are basically reminding us of that era of former President Jacob Zuma, where you defend your political principle and your deployee in government at all costs against any investigations or thorough introspection of yourself and what you may have done wrong.
And how do they explain the fact that what the DA and the ANC and everybody are doing or planning to do to Solly Msimanga and what they have done in Nelson Mandela Bay, they are not doing to Herman Msimanga?
Basically, the DA is saying that they are not speaking so much about Herman Msimanga in Johannesburg or against him, but they are questioning why would the Economic Freedom Fighters want to get rid of Athol Trollip in Nelson Mandela Bay and Solly Msimanga in Tshwane, but still keep Herman Msimanga, who is also a DA mayor. But we've come to understand that...
And what's their answer to that very question?
Their answer is there's no thorough answer when it comes to that. They do not say anything. For instance, in the corners of the Democratic Alliance, there are murmurs and there are people complaining that they think Councillor Herman Msimanga is listening too much to the Economic Freedom Fighters and budging too much to their demands when it comes to the administration and how the city is run. In Tshwane, for instance, you've got the Economic Freedom Fighters in their press conferences who say, no. Councillor Herman Msimanga is fine. He's a listening mayor. We can work with him. But in Tshwane, you've got an issue where I've just seen a tweet now by Floyd Shivambu, the Deputy President of the Economic Freedom Fighters, who says that Solly Msimanga is being micromanaged by a particular white faction within the Democratic Alliance that has a self-entitlement nature within them who are saying that they are basically appointing people without qualifications such as Marietta Ocamp and the bodybuilder who are getting over 1.2 million rands of a salary to oversee work of black academics and black bureaucrats who've got more qualifications than those white people who have been employed in the city of Tshwane. That's what Floyd Shivambu is saying in his tweet.
But then if someone makes an argument that says that Herman Mashaba listens more to the EFF than he should be listening to the DA, then they should be able to produce some evidence that says this is how he has compromised governance or the DA's agenda or whatever it is that is supposed to be his priority or mandate from his party.
There's been nothing on an official note that complains about Herman Mashaba's governance in Tshwane, let me put it like that, but there are murmurs and corners of sources within the Democratic Alliance who are saying that Herman Mashaba is too close to the economic freedom fighters. He's listening too much to them and giving them their demands on whatever they want. For instance, you look at how the budget was passed in the city of Johannesburg. Firstly, the economic freedom fighters first rejected it. Herman Mashaba went back to the drawing board and he listened to them. But the more important thing here, Vuyo, that I am beginning to pick up with the Democratic Alliance, they are fearful of being critiqued like how we critique those who may be in government in other municipalities and at a national level. The minute you question the Democratic Alliance, they go back and they play the blame game. For instance, you look at how they have been doing their media going towards this vote of no confidence against Solly. The DA has been in power in these metros for the past 2 years, but they continually look at the historical things they may have inherited during the era of the African National Congress, but do not tell you what they have done in the past 2 years to make sure that those people whom they say were corrupt and were looting these metro municipalities go to court and face their day in court so that they can be behind bars. Till today, no particular individual has ever been officially charged and has gone to court to answer for the wrongdoing that they may have done. For instance, now, in the city of Tshwane, there are counter-claims and allegations between the economic freedom fighters and the ANC. The ANC is saying the Democratic Alliance inherited a municipality with a surplus in its bank account of 720 million rands. The DA says they inherited a municipality that was merely close to bankruptcy, which they had to build from scratch and get new investment. So it's counter-allegation against one another, which brings to question, what did the Auditor General's report say about the state of finances of the city of Tshwane? And also, we've got to critique how come a Glad Africa company could get a 12 billion rands contract in the city of Tshwane without the knowledge of an executive mayor. An executive mayor sees the day-to-day running of a metro, unlike a mayoral position like we have with Zandile Gumede in eThekwini.
Well, lots of unanswered questions indeed. Samkelo Maseko, who of course attended that DA briefing that took place a little earlier on, where they said they stand firmly behind their man, Solly Msimanga, against whom a vote of no confidence is going to be proposed tomorrow.